order. Once Mrs. Cron arrives here, the first item would be to salute the flag. So please join me in doing so. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Cron, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Casper. Mr. Deming. Mrs. Miller. Here. Mr. Redomo.
Here.
Mr. Sardis.
Here.
Mrs. Schmidt. Here. Mr. Thompson. Here. Mrs. Yardley. Here. Dr. Yarnow.
Here. Thank you. Questions or comments from guests? If not, we'll move to committee reports. The first item A has been struck from tonight's agenda, and we will see that presumably on the 27th. The second item would be the Facilities Committee. Mr. Casper is not here. So I will move that we approve the amended BCIU tire bid. And I would like a second for that. Thank you, Mrs. Schmidt. I will also explain that this is something that was passed, I believe, in May, but with the wrong date. So the actual bid numbers were correct. Some of the spreadsheet information was not. That's why it is appearing on the agenda again tonight. So any other comments or questions from board members on this motion? If not, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 8-0. 7-0. Thank you. Finance, Mr. Sardis.
Thank you, Dr. Yarnow. We got three motions. The first is the motion to approve Mrs. Christine Cordell as the new Silverdale Borough Tax Collector effective June 27th, 2015.
Do we have a second to that motion?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Redomo. Moved and seconded to approve the new tax collector for Silverdale Borough. Comments or questions from board members? If not, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Mr. Sarnes?
The next is a motion to accept and approve purchases A through D. A through C are E+ technology, and D is Pixelogic.
Do we have a second to that motion for technology purchases?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Moved and seconded to approve the technology purchases. Comments or questions from board members? If not, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Finally, Mr. Sarnes?
Yes, and the third is a motion to approve the settlement agreement for student identified as 2016-02.
Do we have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Moved and seconded to approve the settlement agreement. Comments or questions from board members? If not, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 6-1. Next would be the Personnel Committee. That's Mr. Vergola.
Thank you, Dr. Yarnow. One motion is to approve the superintendent's personnel report, EDR, report dated July 15, 2015.
Do we have a second to this motion?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Schmidt. Moved and seconded to approve the superintendent's personnel report and EDR. Comments or questions from board members? Mrs. Miller.
Thank you.
I have a couple questions. Item 14, it's a rehire. Is that a new position, a new clerk position? 14.
Actually, I had a similar question. I think 12 through,
Well, one's a long term, so
11 through 15, say, rehire. And only one says new.
Those positions are for teachers who previously, I believe, served as long-term substitutes, and they were listed on the PAR form as a rehire, when actually now they'll be moved into contracted positions.
okay. And I have a question on 17 and 18. They were just moved from one department to the other. Are they going to be like backfilled? Are they going to be replaced in the other previous department? 17 and 18.
17 and 18 are the part-time receptionists. at
They're
the-
moving from business to HR, so are they being replaced in the business office?
No,
Okay.
it's just that they'll now be reporting to human resources.
Okay, I was just wondering if they're going to be replaced.
We'll be actually overseeing their duties and responsibilities.
That's it, thank you.
Going back to, well, 13, 14, and 15, this 11 says new growth. 12 says it's a long-term sub, so are you saying 13, 14, and 15, they're filling positions where people retired, or you said they're now their contract, so just wanted some more explanation.
Right, they're going to be newly hired teachers. They might be replacing someone that's retired, resigned.
I would like that noted,
Okay.
next report.
Yeah, well,
Not all of them.
we're going off what's on those PARs that we receive. Yeah, so what we get in, and while I have the microphone, I do want to thank the limited HR staff for putting this together. They did a fantastic job processing 74 PARs and I think 38 EDRs, which I personally sat with them. We went through every single person and their contract rate to make sure that they were on target with the memorandum of understanding that was put in place, I believe, last November. So I did want to just, congratulate the staff for the hard work they've been doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions from board members on this item? If not, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Proper screen. New business. I do have one piece of new business that I'd like to bring up, and that is, and it comes up every year at this time. I just received the request from PSBA about whether we wanted to nominate voting delegates to the October meetings that are held. I know Mr. Thompson has done this numbers of years for us. Since I have some, I don't know whether it's free time, but different time, I hope to go to this meeting as well. And Paul, is there anyone else who would like to or expects to go to the October 13th, I think is the date? Yes, Tuesday, October 13th is the PSBA Delegate Assembly. And if not, I'd like to make a motion that the board approve Mr. Thompson and myself to go to this and represent Pennridge. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Comments or questions for board members? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
That in the budget.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. So I will give this to you if you don't have a copy, Mrs. Cron, and perhaps you could submit it to PSBA. Okay. Thank you. Any other new business from board members? If not, announcements. The next regular school board meeting is scheduled for Monday, July the 27th. It will be at 7 p.m. in this room here at the high school. There was an executive session before tonight's committee meetings at 6 p.m. and it was for the purpose of negotiations. There will also be an executive session once this meeting terminates tonight, also for the purpose of negotiations. Comments from guests? If not, questions from press. I don't believe we had any press tonight. This meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you for coming.